Hey guys, Kev here, and let's talk about the crispy donut community, Chicago. Shish kebab. Shir kaka. If you guys get that reference, please leave a comment down below. I would really appreciate that. Hope I'm not giving my age away. Oh, man, what a classic. All right, so this is the Crispy Donut Community Chicago. This is their, I can't help it every time I hear that. I just want to go Chicago. This is their third knife release, I believe, maybe fourth, because they have a fixed blade. It might be out, might not be. They actually have a pre-order up for this right now. So you guys saw the Salem on the channel not too long ago. That one I passed around to some other folks. I'll do the same with this guy, of course. And they had a pre-order go up for the Salem, and at the same time they launched a pre-order for the Chicago, and I didn't know that, but now we do. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the information on this. I got to put in a password, which I'm going to give you guys if you're interested. There is a link down below, and that will give you access to the pre-order. So there is a password to get in, which is early bird, all caps, early bird, and that's how you get in. And then you go over to what is the Donut Vault, and you will be able to pre-order the Chicago. It's going to be $135 on pre-order, okay? There's also a fixed blade up there right now as well called the Salvation. So that one's up as well. It's $165. I don't know if that one's maybe made in the U.S. or something, which would be cool. This one's OEM by Kubi. So this is the Chicago. $135 on the early bird pre-order. I believe it is $150 normally. So you save $15, okay? They say the prototype will be slightly different than the knife you receive. There will be some small cosmetic changes that will be posted throughout the production process, one of which may be them changing this. I know they made it a little bigger on the other one. They say it will take approximately 2 to 4 months to ship to you, so please be patient. This is in S35VN steel, and so is my prototype, which is cool. It has an 8-inch overall length. It has a 4.5-inch closed length overall. The blade thickness is 0.11, which is nice and thin. The blade length is 3.5 inches. The cutting edge is 3.25 inches. The weight on this bad boy is 3.9 ounces. Very nice. Feels perfect for the size. You know, weight to me is just a number until I've handled the knife. I just had another knife in the TW Price Dawn V2. Great knife. Absolutely fantastic. 3.25 inch blade, 3.7 ounces. That sounds perfect to me, right? I'm okay with, I don't mind if a knife is a little heavier than the ounce to inch thing. That doesn't bother me. But in my hand, that knife just felt a little heavier than it should be. Now, I had the V1, so I have a reference, and I think that's why. But sometimes things just don't feel exactly right for the individual. That's just for me, right? Everybody's different. But this 3.9 ounces, it just feels fantastic for this knife. Feels light. Feels great. G10 show side scale, and I believe it's available in different colors. It's a titanium frame lock, pivot, and body screws and backspacers. So it's all titanium. The clip is as well. It's a milled clip. It's obviously right hand only, but that's fine for me in this case. You have thumb studs and a flipper tab, stonewashed hardware, and then you have brass cage ceramic bearings, of course. And it is $135, and it just says pre-order now. So it does not look like there's any options to choose color. So I'm guessing when they launch this bad boy, when they actually come in, they're going to have different colors. So I'm sure there's going to be a black because they did that last time as well. So there's the specs and all the information on it and whatnot. Again, the link is down in the description, and the code to get to the donut vault is early bird, all caps, early bird. All right. So I met Drew and Luke at Blade Show, and I had been chatting with them before on Instagram. Putting faces to names was incredible for me. These guys are just stand-up American. Like, they're just dudes. Like, absolutely what you think of as a good old American just dude, right? And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I'm so glad I got to meet them and hang out a little bit and talk. And it was an absolute pleasure. If you guys watch this, yeah, you guys are awesome. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to be a part of this, and they include me in their review samples and all that kind of stuff. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to pass this around my pass-around group because I want them to get as much exposure as possible, and because I really like them, and I really like what they're doing. And while their whole thing really is not my bag, like, I'm not into the donut stuff, I'm not a very tactical guy, I just respect them and enjoy them, and I can review the knives for what they are, and you guys can take that, and I want to shed light on them because I really like those guys. So there you go. So the Chicago here is my favorite knife they've done so far. The original one I handled at Blade Show, I think, very briefly. And it's cool, but it kind of reminds me of other knives, not in like a copy way, just as in I've seen knives with studs and a flipper or studs or whatever before in that kind of shape or whatever. And the Salem was cool too, but as much as I liked a lot about it, the flipper stud design on that one just didn't make the most sense to me. I think that would have been a perfect one to maybe just chop the flipper off or chop the studs off and let the detent be what it needed to be, because it was a little strong because of the flipper and it made it hard to flick with the reverse flick. Now the Chicago here, they've accomplished basically everything, right? Now I can fail this knife if I try, right? I can fail it if I really want to. But that's because I really want to, right? If I just flick it, it flicks, right? So they have it dialed to where the flipper tab works very well when you just give it a good flick, right? But the studs are on point. They just fire out really well. They have a good angle on them. You can get good access to them and reverse flick it really easily. That was the one thing I struggled with on the Winston, the Winston, on the Salem, was that reverse flick. It was just a little too tight in there to get in and get a good flick. So it was a little bit of a struggle for me. This is so good. It is massively fidgety. Even left-handed, I can get up on that lock bar and it'll still fire off. And then you have a nice, comfortable handle. I prefer a knife with a thinner handle profile like this, and they did a good job on that. Even though it's flat slabbed and everything, it's all contoured really well, and it just feels good in the hand. They have this lanyard thing coming off the back, kind of like the Strix. It's okay. It's not sharp in any way, so it's okay. You can kind of flipper choil this guy. So as long as you're not going crazy and you're not worried about, you know, cutting yourself down here, you have plenty of room to get in there and use that flipper choil. You have a hollow grind right here, so it's kind of a leaf-shaped blade, sort of. It's a spear point in my estimation, right? Compound grind, spear point, all that good stuff. And you have a nice hollow grind down here. And it's already a thin stock, 0.11 on the stock. So it just really glides through material. And I just really enjoy it. I think it's a great cutter. I just think they kind of checked all the correct boxes on this one, where the other ones for me were good, and you know, I don't have any glaring issues with them or anything. This one just kind of nails it on a lot of stuff for me. They are changing the jimping because it is very sharp, and they know that, but it's like saw teeth. I keep saying that wrong. Saw teeth. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically a saw in here. So they're changing that to make it much less aggressive, which is good. But I think aesthetically, it does have a cool, and it's got a unique look to it. It's got a crispy donut community look to it. That's their kind of signature jimping. So I wouldn't want to see it go away completely. I just want to see it not, you know, rip my finger off. But yeah, overall, this knife is very, very cool. And I'm glad I got to check it out. And I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because a lot of you will know that this is not really in my wheelhouse in terms of what I normally like, but I just really like it. And I'm sure that knowing them and meeting them has an influence on that. I can guarantee it, that it makes me like the knife more. But objectively, this knife is very cool. And I think for $135 in S35VN steel, you really can't go wrong. You know, what do you have to lose on it? Not much. I think you just have a little fun. You get a cool donut knife, and yeah. So there you go. That is the Crispy Donut Community Chicago shish kebab. Chicago. I gotta shut up. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.